Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for the brand new episodes coming over on Animaking 3. Yes, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, I have 3 channels. Animaking 2, and Animaking 3. I post what ifs on each of them every single day, so you get 3 what ifs a day guys for you guys to enjoy. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and click those red subscribe button and become part of the Animaking family. And also turn on that bell notification to stay posted. I'll be replying talking back to all of you if you're new, so comment down below and tell me. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode, shall we? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off as Uncle asked Naruto if he liked the ramen waitress, as Naruto told her why he couldn't, as he went into a flashback where the old man and Ayam had accepted him freely. They did not see Naruto as a monster, not even one bit, but that caused some problem as she was getting bullied because she was friends with a so-called demon. So he decided to separate himself from them to make sure that they don't get hurt because of what he is, as Uncle simply sighed as he was going through so much at such a young age. The group made their way towards where the doll maker was, as Orochimaru's own one, allowed to go inside. The man then came out back as Naruto and the group were confused, but Orochimaru seemed like normal, but there was just something off. Itachi had a gut feeling about it as well. Before he could tell Naruto about it, they were surrounded as Itachi threw the kunai. He expected just to hit the man to knock him out, of course, but it pierced right through the man's throat, killing him. This was the first time he ever took a life. As Naruto saw that they were surrounded, he made a mad dash off as all of the bandits surrounded him. He had an explosive tag as he let it loose. The explosion blew him away as well, ripping them to pieces. As Naruto got attacked, the real Orochimaru emerged as he whispered the name once again, Kusanagi. Heads, neck and arm were severed as he slaughtered all of them. When Naruto finally woke up back, Uncle told him that Orochimaru was the one that saved him, as Itachi felt bad about not being there. As Naruto simply shrugged that off, as Itachi had killed someone for the first time. Being a pacifist as he was, it was rather hard. But still, he had to do what he do to protect his teammates, to protect his friends. They made their way back to Konoha and they were interrupted by Jiraiya, as Naruto was surprised to see him, as he ran and hugged his uncle Jiraiya. Jiraiya was happy to see him as he told Naruto that he would talk to him later, as he hadn't seen him for 2 years now. It was 5 when he got the beast seal inside of him. They made their way to the office as they got their pay. Kushina came in. The doll was for her daughter, that expensive doll that was for 200,000 Ryu. She glanced at the team as she saw the mop of blonde hair behind the group, as he left rather quickly. As Sasuke and them departed, he made his way, as he ended up getting sidetracked by the Hokage III. As the third spoke to Sasuke, he went into a flashback. The third was furious when he saw Naruto had gotten beaten up and the dry blood on him, to be disowned because the boy was impolite. As Sarutobi knew that was a bunch of bullshit, but unfortunately he couldn't tell Naruto the truth. Him, Minato, Kushina and Jiraiya knew the truth, but they could not tell Naruto. But that didn't mean that he liked it one bit, as Jiraiya went off to go and visit Naruto. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. As Naruto was waiting, sitting and waiting, he heard the wooden sandals, as a smile came to his face as Jiraiya entered the apartment with a big goofy grin on his face, holding in front of him a rather large scroll. Well, since your birthday has passed at least twice with me out of Konoha, I brought you a gift. As the man unraveled the scroll, as Naruto saw names, including Jiraiya's and Minato Namikaze. Uncle Jiraiya? What is this, Naruto question? It's a toad summoning scroll for 2 missed birthdays. I'm letting you sign it right now. Come on, I know you want to have awesome toad companions to help you fight. As Jiraiya tried to convince him, Naruto frowned as he saw his father named there. What if I don't like toads, Naruto asked. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow in that question. Why wouldn't you? Toads are awesome. There's this frog cut a style that you would. Naruto cut him off. But they're yucky to eat, he said. Jiraiya faced pale at the remark. No, don't tell me you actually ate toads. Did you, boy? You couldn't have. As Jiraiya grabbed both of his shoulders, shaking him. I couldn't believe that you just barred yourself from toad summons, he said. I was hungry, and those toads seemed good to eat, although they did give me stomach ache. Jiraiya sighed. Well, look at me carefully and repeat, said Jiraiya, as he went through hand signs rather slowly. Summoning jutsu. There was a poof as a small tadpole appeared. Before it poofed away. A tadpole? Is that the might of a toad summoned Naruto asked? No, well, just if you haven't signed a contract, said Jiraiya. As Jiraiya rolled the contract back up, you can try this summoning scroll, and you should end up to the nearest attuned animal summoned to you. If it's snakes, quickly yell out loud that you know Orochimaru, or they will eat you fast. Don't worry, if you end up a bit far, they should get you back here, if you ask nicely. At that, Naruto gulped. I have a mission, most certainly tomorrow, or maybe training, so just repeat the motion. Just don't put in any chalk or nothing should happen, said Jiraiya. As Naruto followed the hand sign slowly, it took a good 5 minutes for Naruto to be able to do it comfortably and perfectly as well. Jiraiya smiled as he offered the boys here. How about we go get some ramen to celebrate, he said. Can I invite Uncle-chan as well, Naruto asked. Uncle-chan? Did you get it on with your teammate, kid? You're a bit too young, and she's a bit too old for you, especially at this age. What are you talking about, Uncle, Naruto asked, confused. Jiraiya sighed. Well, what's the reason why you're inviting one of your genin to eat with us? You don't want a one-on-one with your uncle? As the Sanin said that, Naruto shook his head no. It's not that at all. It's just, I think she might be alone right now. And she probably wants someone to talk with. You see, she went with Sensei to sign the snake summoning contract. And he's gonna probably ask her to leave afterwards. Sensei doesn't waste time. And she end up eating alone usually. And you know this because? Jiraiya asked. Well, she was the one that usually come around to eat with me. I thought I could invite her for once, said Naruto. Well then, kid, go to her apartment, knock, and present yourself like a dashing Romeo. And everything should be fine. I'll wait for you at Ichiraku Ramen, so get to it. Quick, quick. Naruto wasted no time as he took the back alleys. As he made his way to Uncle's apartment, without even breaking a sweat. Just as he was about to knock, he heard chuckling coming from within. Soft chuckle female girl. No way. He let you sign it? Yeah, he did. I'm so jealous. Say, is it true that the demon boy murdered the entire town? As Naruto paused, holding his breath, waiting for the reply. Who? Him? Nah, he's a scrawny, weak thing. He did kill a couple of thieves in cold blood though, today's mission. The voice that reply was from Uncle. As Naruto waited, patiently. Kill them in cold blood? Did he lick their blood? Or eat their corpses? Well, the corpses were a mess, but I told you, Uncle-chan, you're so unlucky to have that boy in your team. He has to have problems. Well, but come on, Uncle, there's no need to defend him. He's not here right now. So tell us everything. But Uncle-chan, we want to know. Don't keep us away from the truth. What horrible things that monster do. As Naruto turned and ran away, making his way towards Ichiraku Ramen, it seems Uncle had company that night. Obviously, she wasn't alone. Being a war orphan didn't really mean much. But being the Kyuubi Jinjulke, and being disowned for being disrespectful with a weak seal, he was always the one that was left alone. It meant staying away from people so that they wouldn't be blamed as well, and be seen as the person who harbingered the monster. At least if he could talk to the Kyuubi and ask it why. Why did they have to ruin his life? But there was always silence. Nothing but unending silence. As he arrived, he saw Jiraiya and there was a red-haired woman beside him. The both of them were talking. He decided not to go there for now. He would try that summoning thing as he made his way off. He made his way to the park. Night was taking over as he went through Hansan. As you remember what Jiraiya said. Would he be summoned to the toads? Or probably it was snakes? Or was it going to be cats? Would they forgive him for barbecuing a couple of cats? Summoning jutsu, he said, as Naruto was gone in a poof of smoke. Meanwhile, with Uncle, she had just sent home her now once more friends. As she sighed, they forced her to say a lot of things, actually, putting the words in her mouth. Well, it was like the blonde brat was gonna know. And even if he did, he would probably forgive her. If people actually took their time to know him, they would know that he's incredibly nice. Now, she was waiting for tomorrow to shove it right in front of Clansboy's face. That she would be going on a private trip, together with Sensei and 9 other Genins, to a special place in the land of C, to undertake some special training that will finally put her on par with Itachi. And Naruto will be marked as dead last of the Genin team. Sure, the boy was nice and cute, and he had helped them, but she was Sensei's favorite. Orochimaru Sensei had told her that himself, as she couldn't wait for tomorrow. If all went as planned, by the time they reached the land of C, she would be 12. She would miss the 10th of October, the Kyuubi festival, and probably she would take all of November in that special training regime that Orochimaru had planned, as her friends had came over to make peace, as they offer her dango and tea, and everything seemed to fix itself, as she was happy. And though she was hungry, she did eat some dango as a light snack. As she made her way, sure that the blonde boy would like some company. When she arrived as she called, she did not get a reply. She sighed. He must be at his second favorite place, Ichiraku Ramen stall. When she arrived there, she saw the white hair. It was a toad hermit, Jiraiya the Sanin, as she recognized him from before. The man seemed to be frowning when he saw her. A small smile came on his face. Ah, Anko-chan, is it? Where's Naruto? He said as he looked around. Huh? I thought he was here. He usually come here to eat a lot. But why are you asking me, Uncle Axe? I chuckle a bit. Naruto can come here to celebrate whenever he can, said Ayam. Well, the kid said that he wanted to invite you for some ramen, so I thought he went to get you. He didn't come to get you? Asked Jiraiya. No, he didn't. I went to look for him at his apartment, but he wasn't there. Well, you probably miss each other. It's not like he could just disappear from Konoha and go somewhere else, Jiraiya said. Meanwhile, somewhere else. It has been a while since this happened. A voice said from a dark cave. It's been a long while since I've seen someone from Konoha here. As Naruto looked around, confused, because he could not see anything at all. Yeah, usually, they don't come around near us, another voice said. As Naruto saw a scroll, surrounded by candles on a strange podium. Well, anyway, he's here. Let us ask the question, as Naruto could not see who was talking. Oh, shut up. Hey, who's the bastard biting my tail? A more darker voice said. As Naruto started to sweat as he wondered where the hell he came. What exactly was he summoned to? Do I have a natural affinity to summon ghosts? He wondered. Suddenly, a large yellow eye opened in front of him that was slitted, making Naruto jump back and scream in fear, only for it to reveal itself as a chameleon. A giant chameleon that was changing color to show green and purple dots over its skin. Ghosts? That's a new way of putting it. We're chameleons. It was like a smaller dinosaur. The thing had teeth, and his head was shaped like a dinosaur as well. The thing had some sharp teeth. It moved towards a scroll that was in the center of the cave. Well, first question. You see a bird perch on top of a branch. 5 branches above you. What do you do? Naruto took a deep breath. What exactly would he do? Well, I would try to knock him down that stone, then grab him when he falls near me, so I can have roast, said Naruto. The eyes of the chameleon narrowed towards Naruto, before it shrugged. Fine by me. Good. Question time is over, so there's more than one question, you lazy lizard. As Naruto turned to see a reddish-brown chameleon that walked down the side of the cave, going towards the scroll. Question number 2. What's your best mean of defense? As Naruto looked down at his equipment, not really sure what he could answer with. A kunai? A explosive tag? Well, it depends on the situation. It was like he could fight a wolf with an explosive tag. That was just a overkill move. Well, anything that works, said Naruto. The red chameleon blinked before looking upwards. Is that actually a valid answer? Naruto looked up. Weren't they in a cave? As he heard a low rumble upstairs. But he couldn't see anything. There was probably a chameleon there. Good. It seems like it's a valid answer. As Naruto jumped slightly, as a third chameleon appeared at his side, his scales flickering with a candle. As that was impossible, right? But yet he was doing it. As he came behind the scroll, his scales turned into a bright, dark blue at the same time. Well, 2 out of 4. Let's see. Do you like salamanders? What? Said Naruto. You know, salamanders. Those poisonous thingy with scales. Never saw one, but if it's poison, I don't eat it, said Naruto. That made the chameleon grin a bit. Well, 3 out of 4. Shiramari would probably be fine by that. As the chameleon said that, the cave trembled. As Naruto then realized to his utter shock, the cave, it wasn't actually a cave. It was a giant chameleon who had shaped its body like a cave, and now he was right in the center. Okami, said Naruto. A dark brownish view, massive golden eyes looked down at him as the beast finally moved away, showing Naruto as he felt a little wind rushing all around him. Cracky ground with flourished wildlife over to the side, bushes. He was in some sort of jungle. Okay, where am I? Said Naruto. Well, this is the home of the chameleon summon. We are in the land of rain. Sometimes we get some want-to-be summoners from the land of water, but they always go whine to the salamanders. They think poison is better than stealth. Gullible idiots. As the chameleon pointed his tail towards the contract. Well, anyway, you don't like poison, so we're fine with it. Sign your name. Naruto walked forward. Is there anything I should know before I sign this? He turned to the brighter blue one, as that one looked more calm. Well, after you sign the contract, you are asked not to eat any chameleons. With that, Naruto nodded. There weren't chameleons in Konoha, and if they were hidden pretty well. You should also help chameleons if you come across one, if they're in danger. Naruto nodded at that. And if you come across a salamander summoner, you should kick their ass, painfully. Using a chameleon summon. You guys really don't like salamanders, huh? Not one bit. They always try to boss their way in our territory. But we show them who's cheekier. That we do. The green salamander said. Naruto nodded as he wrote his name in blood and scroll. Good. If you ever come across Shiomari, can you tell her to come back home? Naruto turned towards a white and grey chameleon. Is there something I can recognize her by? Naruto asked. Well, the last time she was summoning Kubinakuni by Kozabai Kasaki. About 50 years ago, who was our last summoner. But then she didn't come home. As Naruto saw above his name, there was a name, Koza. Wait, so right now I'm your only summoner, Naruto asked. I did tell you that salamanders are preferred by those damn idiots of Rain and Mist, didn't I? Naruto nodded at that. Still, I never heard of chameleon summons. Why should I have a natural affinity with them? The chameleon that was greyish with a dark blue tint. His name was Ryu. He replied in a gruff voice that seemed to be his natural output. Well, brat, either you ate one of everything else. Naruto winks at that. He did eat a lot of things. Or you simply share our philosophy of living. Or you have a natural affinity with us. But Land of Fire usually have fire affinity users, while we are most depth in water affinity. Fire affinity? Like the fire jutsu that Itachi does. The white speckled chameleon chuckled at that. Yes, fire release. Catons, fire release that require affinity for fire. While Suton, or water release, like this. The chameleon stabbed its tail in the ground as a geyser came up. Well, I haven't told you my name. I am Tokagi. That one over there trying to eat the bird. As it pointed towards the green foliage one. He's Gozu. As the chameleon released his tongue that stuck right through the bird. As he pulled him back and swallowed him. Then there's King Cameron. He speaks very little. He just grumbles most of the time. Tokagi said. Do note, from other summons, we aren't much of a frontal attack. Infiltration, yes. Support, yes. Head-on attack, You'll probably be better off on your own for that, said Tokagi. As Naruto scratched the back of his head. Do you know how I can get back home? Walk it. Don't you like walking, Ryu said. As Kozu burped, as feathers came from his mouth. Tokagi simply shook his head. I'll pop you back to Konoha. As Cloud filled Naruto. Tokagi coughed. Sorry about that. Second time's a charm, right? As Naruto really hoped that he ended up back in the right place. Poof! As he felt himself getting transported. Meanwhile, Toki was mixed in the broth for ramen. The nervous uncle, the worried Ayam, and tense Jiraiya as he couldn't find Naruto. Well, he's late. I wonder why. Uncle tensed up as she wondered if he heard her talking with her friends. What if he was moping somewhere in the corner crying his heart out? And what if Jiraiya found him, consoled him, and he got wind of it? She was gonna have a pissed off son at her. And Jiraiya was Minato the Tokagi sensei. That means he could probably get her off the team. No, Naruto would have knocked, right? There was no way he would have heard anything. She was snapped from her thoughts when there was a poof. As Naruto appeared on one of the stalls. Toki gasped. Naruto? Said Jiraiya. Naruto-kun, Ayam said. As Naruto sadly fixed himself on his seat. Where have you been, Uncle asked. Is everything alright, kid? Jiraiya asked. Well, you could say that. One pork ramen, Toki-san. Make it a double, said Naruto. I might have signed a summoning contract. Jiraiya narrowed his gaze. kid, I told you not to do it. You should have waited for me. What if something had happened to you? How could you? Everything went fine, uncle, said Naruto. I entered a contract with the chameleon summons, said Naruto. Chameleon summons? I've never heard of them before. Just as Jiraiya said that, uncle butted in. Chameleons? I got to sign a snake summoning contract. They can eat your chameleons in a second. As she was smiling at best Naruto once again, he gave her a soft smile. Yeah, I suppose they could. Uncle frowned. He was too kind and gentle to make things make him feel bad. Or if it did, he wouldn't let it show. He would just remain calm. Dinner went by in a strange silence. Even Jiraiya that tried to get more information from the boy got nothing. Just as they bid goodbye to Uncle, who was very excited to get some sleep until tomorrow. As Naruto gathered up his courage, Uncle Jiraiya, do you know why I was abandoned? At the question, Jiraiya sighed. Before letting his sad gaze sweep over Naruto's face, ruffling his hair, Jiraiya simply dashed off, leaving the perplexed Naruto alone to think about his actions. A thought came to Naruto's mind. It was because he knows, and he won't answer anyone less than the Hokage. He sighed as he made his way home. As they would probably have training tomorrow, he hoped Orochimaru Sensei would teach him something. As he made his way home and went to sleep, he didn't even question why his mattress felt tickly more than usual and also furry as he drifted off to sleep. Meanwhile, she finally went to bed, said Kushina, her eyes showing bags underneath them from the lack of sleep or the energy deprivation one of the two. She's a bundle of energy, isn't she? Said Minato. The both of them were in the living room. You know, she no longer... Kushina was cut off. No, it's still too dangerous, said Minato. I have doubts about Orochimaru as well. He's showing too much interest in the Kyuubi recently. Kushina's face narrowed at that. You think he realized something? No. He didn't seem puzzled in seeing Jiraiya, said Minato. Well then, how did his first time out of the village go? Asked Kushina. There was bloodshed. Obviously, Orochimaru claimed that there was nothing that happened. I could have gotten Naruto kicked out of the shinobi program, but the bastard snake clashed against that. All that planning with Danzo gone to waste, said Minato. There were a couple root members in the gang, but Orochimaru killed them all without care. And the root retrieval team was slaughtered in the forest. He did that all without the kids noticing. Well, what about the hidden stone instead, said Kushina. It seems they're trying to get their hands on Katsumi. But they no longer give a damn about Naruto. After all, I disowned him. I made it clear that I wouldn't waste a Ryu on getting him back. I even offered him straight to the hidden stone Kage, and he actually refused it, said Minato. Minato said that with a rather smug smile. As Kushina's eyes turned sad. He's still a Uzumaki, right? She whispered. I can check in the clan laws, but let's say he did shed blood. He's an adult, and as his clan matriarch, I can force him out of the shinobi program. There's no proof that he actually killed anyone. Assassination missions are for tunings only, said Minato. Well then, just send him on one, said Kushina. Naruto, on a tuning rank mission. He would die certainly. Kushina shook her head. Not alone. Send him with a 4-team squad, handpicked, and order them to make Naruto handle the deal. He would probably hate me till the end of his life. His long, civilian life. But he won't be a shinobi. No longer. Unless he magically get into another clan that reversed my sentence. As Minato mulled over the idea, he did complete a lot of D-rank missions. A couple of C-rank missions. And then I'll send him on his first B-rank mission. And then you can swoop him out of the shinobi program. As she finished speaking, Kushina snuggled up close to her husband. And then once he's out, I'll have him brought into a civilian orphanage. There he can be fed and taught how to be a civilian, while Danzo's root can keep their eyes on him. The plan seemed pretty solid in Minato's mind. The only problem was if Orochimaru would intervene once again, or if anyone else that knew the truth would object for the plan. He just hoped that Hiruzen agreed with it as well. But he did dote on the boy too much. But still, once he found out that it was for the good of the boy, how could he say no? Thought Minato to himself. Time skip. Uncle pouted as she looked at all the losers around her. She wondered why Orochimaru Sensei invited them on a training trip. They had left at first dawn, 2 days after she signed the snake summoning contract. She barely got down the Senijutsu. All of these people here were orphans, all of them taught by Orochimaru, and they were eager to get onto the training regime that Orochimaru had set. As it took her a moment to get used to the swaying motion of the ship, she smirked as she saw some of them were turning rather green, seasickness, while she was fine. They all seemed so tense and frowning. Probably a bunch of stuck-up kids, she thought to herself. Probably their parents begged Orochimaru to take them with him. She was the only one that he chose because of her skills, She was sure of that. She didn't know what to think of the first rule for a trip. Absolute silence. They could only speak to him and backwards. Not to speak and cooperate with each other. As she looked out to the vast ocean, Itachi was probably getting some clan training, while Naruto, he was probably alone moping. When she came back stronger than ever, she would teach something to him herself. Then he would be grateful to his uncle Sama and become her manservant. She would treat him well and protect him. But the thought of him wearing puppy dog ears and his eyes full and puffy with a smile, coming to rest his head on her lap, it made her think of him so cute. Chuckling to herself, she and all the others did not notice the look on Orochimaru's face that was cold and calculated. The first batch of subjects are apparently healthy. Some suffer from seasickness while some don't. There are 5 males and 5 female subjects, and all of them are passable shinobis. Of these, 1 out of each group has a summoning contract, but none of them having dojutsu. They are all orphans, as he hoped that some of them will survive the experiment, so that he will get better data for the second group. Meanwhile, Amaki was patiently waiting on Juro Island, one of the 4 islands that compose the Land of Sea. The other 3 islands being Taru, Demon, and Mother. Out of all the islands, Juro was the most secluded and smallest. Perfect place for Orochimaru test subjects for underwater ninjas. Sure, the research was going a bit slow, but he was sure in a couple of years tops, he will get all the research that he can. As Orochimaru licked his lips, thinking about his new creation, the Mark, he had this strange thing, a desire that no one knew about, to dissect a still living woman. Why not a man? Well, he already did that. So at the moment, he just needed a healthy girl. Yes, she would suffice. His tongue extended once again, with a cruel, wicked smile on his face. Back at Konoha at the same time, as Naruto gulped nervously, Itachi was at his side, and 2 Chunins ahead of them. He was used to those cold stares. But the red-eyed girl, 17-year-old, was deep in thought. Next to her was a black-eyed boy. His eyes glare at Naruto, and then back at Itachi. Well, seems like we'll be playing babysitter while your sensei's away, the boy said. I'm Ibiki Marino. This here is Kurenai UI. The girl known as Kurenai frowned. I can present myself without your help, you know? Sexist bastard, she muttered. I'm Kurenai UI, she said, a Genjutsu specialist, aiming for Jonin level, while this rude and clearly sexist guy is aiming for torture and interrogation department. But in truth, he has a soft spot for, while she on the other hand have a soft spot for a certain guardian of Konoha. A silver-haired man says he made his way over. Kakashi gave Naruto a smile as he looked over the group, as he gave Itachi one as well as he ruffled Naruto's hair. Typical sexist behavior. I'm surrounded by men and boys. Why couldn't there be a Kunoichi project in the mix? Because that is how life is. Now please do note that I'm your sensei, so please address me as Kakashi-sensei. The 4 nodded, well except for Kurenai-san, who can call me Kakashi-sama. As Kurenai, I start to twitch. And you, Naruto-kun, who can address me as you always do, understood? What's our first mission, Sensei? Asked Ibiki, as he tried to divert the rage coming from Kurenai. As Kakashi opened his throat as he read in his mind. Well, it's patrol duty around Konoha. This should be quite interesting. This will take us 5 months. As the 2 Chunins groan, while Naruto and Itachi raise a puzzled eyebrow. Patrol duty around the border is exciting. Patrol border around the village. It's basically helping out farmers and petty problems nearby. And it's some sort of punishment deal as well. Kakashi, why did you pick that up? Well, we need to have our 2 Genins here get inserted into C-rank missions. They've already been inserted into the Chunin exams. That will happen in 3 years unless they get a promotion on the battlefield. Both Itachi and Naruto were surprised by that. But Itachi thought they will still need a team of 3 for Chunin exams, wouldn't they? So it meant that Uncle would probably participate as well. But Naruto wanted to know. Kakashi-sensei, he said, who inserted us into the Chunin exams? Well, having been marked as prodigies, it was a Hokage pleasure, clearly, said Kurenai. Kakashi's eye narrowed slightly as he saw Naruto's eyes got cold. He will never do that without a second reason, Naruto muttered. But seeing that they were so close, they all heard him. He's a Hokage, first and foremost. He should put the village interest above him, said Ibiki. And if you 2 are the real deal, there should be no problem at all. Hey, Kakashi. Kakashi pulled out his orange book as he completely ignored Ibiki. As Ibiki, I twitch. Kakashi-sensei, he said. Yes, Ibiki-kun, said Kakashi. As Ibiki thought, torturing his own Jonin-sensei wasn't going to get him to the IT department anytime soon. How about we test the brats here? Fine by me. Kurenai-chan can pick Itachi, and you can go with Naruto here. As Ibiki smirked wickedly, that made Naruto shiver a bit. Can't wait to test one of Orochimaru Genin's. Let's see how strong you are. What's the training camp number? Kakashi-sensei, even though the boy was a year younger than him. Training ground 3, said Kakashi. Ibiki grabbed Naruto by his jacket. Ibiki, you shouldn't... He was already gone, dashing off with Naruto. He's always like that, Kurenai said. But he won't kill Naruto. I hope. Itachi's face turned a bit pale as he rushed off straight behind the two. My, what enthusiasm, said Kakashi, as he shunned right towards training ground, including Kurenai as well. As he reached the training ground, Ibiki jumped Naruto, who flipped and landed on his feet. Well then, while we wait for the others to get here, how about we start sparring, huh? Show me what you got in Taijutsu department. Not like you got anything else, said Ibiki as he charged forward. As Naruto ducked under his first fist, Ibiki twisted his leg around, but Naruto leaped away. Ibiki dashed forward as he leaped over Naruto. A spinning kicked Naruto back, but he poofed away into a log. Hey, I said Taijutsu only, said Ibiki. So you want to bring ninjutsu into this? Fine then, brat. Bring ninjutsu into it. And the weapons. As he threw Saint Bonds towards a tree, he heard a thud as he heard something cry and hit the ground as he rushed over. Ibiki's eyes wide when he appeared, a rock with an explosive tag. He leaped as the thing exploded, blowing away a couple of trees. Hey, aren't you going a bit overboard? Ibiki smirked as he saw Naruto coming to him at the left. He turned towards the right and punched the real Naruto as he was knocked down. As the clone poofed away. No, that's good, kid. You nearly had me. Ibiki saw Naruto pull the explosive tag. Hey now, no need to go overboard. This is a friendly spar. You got it, Ibiki said. As he saw the look in Naruto's eyes look cold and wicked. Like he wasn't above going to suicide levels. As Ibiki threw a kunai and knocked the explosive tag out of his hand. But Naruto headbutted the kunai. His headband knocked it to the side as it sliced his cheek going down. But Naruto moved forward as Ibiki's eyes went wide before he closed them. I win. As he placed the tag back in his pocket. Wait, I'm still alive? Ibiki pat himself down as he looked at the boy with a shocked expression. Orochimaru Sensei had a spar until one of us closed our eyes, and everything's acceptable in this spar, said Itachi. He was panting slightly as he finally caught up to the two. But I told him only Taijutsu, Ibiki said as he pointed a finger at the blonde. But the spar had already begun. Lying is a common thing with our sensei, so he didn't think anything of it, Itachi said. I'm sorry, Marino-san. I didn't know that you weren't lying, said Naruto. As Naruto bowed his head, Ibiki found himself in the uncomfortable position of wanting to hug the brat, something he only rarely did at home, to his younger brother who was too good for his own good. He shook his head. There's no need to bow. I got it. My mistake. Next time I'll make sure we're speaking on the same wavelength, said Ibiki, as he dismissed the issue with his hand. Naruto, look at you. You got a wound on your cheek. Stand still, will you, said Itachi, as he pulled out a napkin and some disinfectant, as he started cleaning the wound as he placed a cream over it to the side. Kurenai came by as she blushed at the wonderful friendship that these two had. Can I have him? Kurenai said. And what did you do to him? She said as she looked towards Ibiki. Oh, well, nothing. He might have been in the trajectory of a kunai. What? How did he end up in the trajectory of a kunai? She asked. Why did you throw such a thing at this poor little boy? You wounded him. What the hell were you thinking? As she started cursing Ibiki, Kakashi came over. Naruto, just how did you manage to get some explosive tags? Naruto raised eyebrow. I bought them. The shopkeeper said nothing about it? Sure, he was a ninja. Ninjas to get their equipments, but to give a 7-year-old something that could blow him to pieces. I had the money for them, and he said nothing about it. I shouldn't have bought them, Kakashi-sensei, as his eyes turned watery at the fear of doing something wrong. Something in Kakashi cracked. As Kakashi readjusted Naruto's hair, he got silver hair dye out of nowhere and put in Naruto's hair as he brought his headband to cover one of his eyes. Now say big brother Kakashi. It's an order. Oh no you don't, Kurenai said as she dragged Naruto away. Please, stop Kurenai, said Kakashi. That's an order. I'm going to report you for insubordination. No, no, he said. Kurenai dragged him off and watched the hair dye out of his hair. She came back with a freshly blonde. Now leave him alone, she said, before she turned towards Itachi. Well, Uchiha-san, let's have a spar, shall we? Only taijutsu allowed. But if you want to become a chunin, you'll have to demonstrate great skills in ninjutsu and genjutsu. And you must be able to break the malice illusions around you. Not to mention, you must have at least 2 affinity. As Kurenai wasn't going all out on him, as Itachi attacked her, the both of them spar, mostly taijutsu. The fight was rather slow. Come on Itachi, go all out, said Naruto. Come on Kurenai, is that all you can handle? Is it because you're a girl? Said Ibiki. Both of their eyes twitch as they start to kick up a notch. With you two, please. Try not to make this into a death spar, said Kakashi with a sigh. Kakashi noticed Itachi's move, and they were so similar to his. He had sparred with the Uchiha before after all. Well, Obito, he should just grab a pair of goggles. He would have been a perfect example of what you and Ren would have had as a child. He shook his head. Ren, she was still alive, and she go to the memorial more than him. He was sure if they were to linger in the training camp for a while, they would surely meet her. Still, these spars wasn't supposed to last all day. They just wanted to get a feel of the Jennings. Itachi managed to land a punch on Kurenai's cheek, and Kakashi called it. So judging from how the fight went, I can say we can treat you as low. Tune in for the patrol. You've already had to stay away from the village for a while. Both boys nodded as Kakashi shrugged. Good. 1 hour, village gates. We will be away for 5 months, but we will still be nearby. So in case anything happened, we can return. Or if we need to report something. Neither boy moved as he just looked at the older ninjas. You heard me, right? 1 hour, gate. Prepare for a mission. 5 months, he said. We are prepared for a long-term mission in every instant. Orochimaru Sensei gave us these. Itachi pulled a slip of paper that held a containing seal on it. And we have our backpack with supplies, with at least 3 weeks of supply in it. Also, spear weapons and personal hygiene stuff, said Naruto, as Ibiki and Kurenai nervously moved to get their things. Good. Now on my team, there's only one rule I want you to follow, got it? The both of them nodded. Those who abandon their mission are trash, but those who abandon their teammates are even worse than trash, he said. Whatever happens, I want no less than complete understanding on this rule. I will have you thrown out of the shinobi program if you ever abandon one of your teammates, no matter what the mission entail or whatever you have not successfully complete. It's afterwards. Abandon a teammate and you will be nothing more than Jennings, he said, as he looked at him sternly. Both nervous boys nodded. Sometime later, at the land of sea, the seal hurt. No, to say it hurt was an underestimation. Her body felt like it was dipped in molten lava and then thrown into a blizzard. Her skin felt like it was being torn off the bone by a rusty curved spoon. She felt like her brain was being melted and split into pieces. Still, she was holding on to a kunai like it was the last anchor of safety that she had. It seemed ironic, in the small moments of grief that she had, the weapon, the cold edge of the metal, was soothing her. It was the kunai that Naruto gave her. He would surely cry if she was to lose to a piece of seal on her neck, right? Still, it hurt. It hurt badly. She just wanted to close her eyes and sleep and have the pain go away. It could go away by just slitting her throat, but she wouldn't come back after this. But the pain was just so much, she couldn't take it. As she slowly moved the kunai closer as she stared at it, who actually would miss her? She had no one. But those friends of hers, those so-called friends, and those two brats, right? And Orochimaru Sensei must have a reason for doing this to her. As she remembered, flashback, training is over for today. As he let them to go free about their business, Itachi had to go off to talk to his father about something. And she asked for a team meal, but Orochimaru was busy. If you want, Uncle-san, I can come with you. She turned at the blonde boy, his blue eyes looking up at her. Well, your Uncle Sama will accept. I'll get Dango, then we can go to that Ichiraku ramen place you like so much. Well, there's no need to go to the ramen stall then. I'm not that hungry, he said. She frowned, but then she shrugged as she headed off towards the Dango stand. You know, I have to ask, why do you look so low on funds? Shouldn't you have some rich kid bank account or... I have been disowned, he said, cutting her off. I have nothing anymore. As his gaze looked towards the road. I'm not an orphan, so I don't get money from checks. I'm no longer a needy boy. No one would employ me to at least mow the grass, unless I changed my appearance. And I couldn't do anything about vandalism to my apartment, unless I pay for it myself, so yeah, I'm low on funds, he said. Uncle said nothing as he stopped speaking. They arrived towards Dango's stall. She ordered 2 stick-up Dango. She shoved one in his hand. This isn't mercy. You should just understand the superiority of Dango over ramen. So as soon as you get it, you will stop eating damn ramen, she said. She watched a lot of emotions flick across his face before a sparkling glint entered his eyes. As it was happiness, a small tiny hope of happiness. She felt anger towards the fort now as she felt like she wanted to go and spit right on the monument and stomp on it for a while. This boy really knew happiness, she saw it. End of flashback. That damn whiny brat. She dropped the kunai as she didn't bother slitting her throat. I can't leave him alone by himself. No, I can't. If I'm not there backing him up, he'll probably die one day. I have to be there, she said, as she fell over on the ground, trying to calm herself, but she felt like a mess. Black markings started to spread over the seal, coming over her body. As she wondered why was she in this situation. Whose fault is this? Orochimaru, since he must have realized that Naruto was weak, to protect him, he's making me strong, isn't he? She slammed her fist into the ground as the ground started to crack a bit. Obviously, I can't fault Sensei for thinking that, right? As her eyes became small like dots. No, it's the clan's boy's fault. He's always there protecting Naruto, isn't he? Always with that smug look, acting like he cares about the boy. He just enjoy having a toy. Her hand smashed the ground to pieces now, as she picked herself up. No, it's not even his fault. Whose fault is it that I'm here? It's because I'm weak, isn't it? It's my fault. Only my fault, she said, as she collapsed. The markings started to recede themselves, as Orochimaru was watching everything. She's a sole survivor, isn't she? As he turned towards Amaki. Well, a 1 out of 10 successful rate. But we can do better. We can do much better, Amaki-san, Orochimaru said. The man gulped. But Orochimaru-sama, there's still the underwater experiment that... No, drop that. Concentrate only on the cursed seal result. Understood? Amaki felt angry that his life work would be dropped so easily by the thunder. On the other hand, he couldn't do anything against Orochimaru-sama will, as you wish, Orochimaru-sama. But what about your student? You heard her, it's her fault. So why should I bother saying that he isn't? I'll train her some more, to see if she will become interesting. But if not, I'll drop her off somewhere. Not that I care at this point. Can I dissect her? If you discard her, Orochimaru-sama, Amaki asked. Yes, Amaki-san, you can. A smile came on the Mentine's face, as it will be his first time dissecting a girl, as he had to go and prepare his things. His smile was cruel and wicked, as he would get to dissect her. Time skip. 2 months later at Konoha outskirts, as Naruto stomped on Ibuki's feet and slammed his fist into his gut. Ouch, Ibuki said. He stepped backward, catching his breath. That hurt. That damn hurt. Can't believe you were barely past that taijutsu 2 months ago. Ibuki-san, you're faking, said Naruto. The man stood back up with a smile. Got it. Remember, boy, this is sparring, but in real life. You should never expect someone older than you go down so quickly. Simply, live in longer, make one more experience than you. The sound of sizzling could be heard behind Ibuki's back. I'm not falling for the trick again. There's nowhere there's the explosive tag behind me. In truth, there wasn't. But that didn't stop Naruto from dashing straight towards Ibuki. The source of the sound was a rattling snake. The snake bit into his right arm as he pushed Ibuki away. He grabbed the snake by the head. With his own teeth, he bit into the thing's neck. Brat, Ibuki said, as he looked at the headless snake. It's fine, said Naruto, as he sucked the venom out of his arm and spat it out. Let's get to camp, Ibuki said. Kakashi's bound to have anti-venoms on him. No whining, Ibuki said. You need to rely on me for this, and I should probably tell you, thanks. Had the boy not been there, the snake would have bit him right on his butt. And you would have to explain that, something you would not say out loud. We're teammates, right? At that question, as Ibuki dashed towards the camp with him. We're fellow shinobis of the Hidden Leaf, and we're friends. I tell you, boy, when you can get down a bottle of sake, we'll have a nice drinking contest. As Naruto nodded as he felt all fuzzy inside. They made their way, as Kurenai sighed. Tell me, why is it when the both of you go, one of you always come back wounded? Well, UI-san, it's because you're both idiots, Itachi said. Hey, brat, respect your elders, and get me some anti-venom from supply. The boy got bitten by a rattlesnake. Itachi nodded as he went for a small vial of green liquid. Here, gulp it down. Ibuki forced him to drink the medicine. As Naruto coughed, the thing was so bitter and disgusting, as he grabbed his cylinder and started to drink. You know, kid, I want to know, what's the deal with you and explosive tags? Where do you get so many from? And how do you find the cash to get that many? Asked Ibuki, as Itachi faced pale a bit. Naruto wasn't going to tell them that he stole them, right? I write them down. They aren't that strong like the original ones, but they do go bang. Wait, you write them down? Kurenai muttered, as she got closer. What do you mean you write them down? She asked. Well, I got one, then I write it on another piece of paper. Kakashi-sensei said it worked like that. Kurenai's eyes bulged. Kakashi screamed, making him jump as he fell from his hiding spot. She walked over and grabbed him by his jacket. You imbecile! Do you know how many things can go wrong with copying without training in explosive tags? And you let him do it? Are you Please, UI-san, said Naruto as he stands in front of Kakashi. It's my fault. I'm the one that asked. Please don't blame him. She looked down. All the anger left her. So cute, she said, as she wrapped him up in a hug. Itachi, Ibiki, and Kakashi turned toward each other. It had to be the blonde hair, with blue eyes. And those whisker marks, right? Kakashi said. Kurina-san. Oh yeah, sorry, she said. As she still held Naruto close to her, Ibiki eyebrow twitched, as she finally released him. Anyway, she said, if the boy Choco control is able to realize weak, but working, Fuinjutsu seals for explosive tags, you realize that he could excel in Genjutsu and Medical Ninja era, right? I need to test out how he works, but he can become a valuable asset in any ninja team. No, we're not having this discussion again. His blood is powerhouse blood. I am not gonna put him in any infiltration team. That is Anvu work. But you're ex-Anvu, said Kurenai. Precisely. And I say that he's not Anvu material. He's probably gonna become a first-line fighter, just like his... Kakashi realized that he was no longer there. And Ibiki and Itachi were also gone. And you made him run away, Kakashi said. I did not. You did, she said. No, I didn't. I just stated the truth. Kakashi, he slipped away from your senses, unnoticed. What more proof than that do you want? He's not entering Anvu, UI-san, said Kakashi. And remember, I am your superior officer on this mission. Oh no, you're not pulling rank on me, she said. Wait, you hear that? As Kakashi didn't want her to get into Anvu, that was the darker part of Konoha to do such things that were seemingly unforgivable. Naruto wasn't that material at all, as Kakashi activated Sharingan, as he saw Kumo ninjas, but they were running. Kurenai moved to intercept them, but she was stopped by Kakashi, as there was an explosion. I heard 5 of them, but that was only 2, she said. Kurenai pulled out a kunai, as she and Kakashi quickly headed off to where the others were. What they saw when they arrived was a slaughter. Ibiki was barely holding his own against the superior Kumo shinobi, who had a sack on his back, while Naruto was slammed in a tree, as he was unconscious. As Itachi finished his hands and released a massive fireball, forcing them to move back, as Kakashi vanished. But he didn't look up to see Naruto above the Kumo ninjas that seemed to be the leader of the group. As he looked over, that was a transformation. As Naruto leaped off the branch with the tanto that Kakashi had given him, he came down without a single sound, his body moving through the air. Time seemed to slow down for Kakashi, as Naruto slashed the tip of the bag before grabbing the bag and jumping off the man's back. Itachi didn't start to move as the other 2 started to come after him. A tree burst from the ground behind the man, wrapping him up in Kurenai's illusion. The other one, as Itachi leaped, he hit his foot on a log. But it wasn't a normal log, it was covered in explosive tags. Boom! The man was charred beyond repair as he was blown away. Ibiki on the other hand was knocked away, as the one that he was facing off against was a leader, and a clear Jonin. Ibiki found his arm going numb as electricity flowed through the man's weapon. Not willing to waste time, the man dashed towards Naruto and his sack that Naruto was holding onto that had blue hair inside. But Kakashi was already there, and the man would have been dead in seconds if it wasn't for, well, he was gonna die anyway, as he was hit repeatedly in the chest by a Hyuga, incredibly fast. As the gruesome display died down and the man fell down, his organs being destroyed. Kakashi jumped in the clearing. Hayashi-sama. The Hyuga clan head turned towards Kakashi. Hatake-san, I must say I have to thank Kami that your team was here to intercept the kidnappers. He then turned to Naruto, who was trying to convince a small 3-year-old to stop clutching at his jacket, but the girl would not let him go. The boys, Hayashi muttered as he saw the blue hair, the blonde eyes and whisker marks. He knew who he was. Naruto Uzumaki, him and Itachi Uchiha here, created a masterful plan to distract some of the Kumo shinobis. I must thank them then for saving my eldest daughter. Hayashi bowed his head slightly towards Itachi, who bowed as well. Hayashi then turned towards the blonde boy. Hinata. The girl stopped crying slowly, as she rushed over to her father, finally releasing her the jacket. He held out his hand and she held on to it. That was the most his stern attitude could show, the kindness of a father towards his daughter. He gave Naruto a bow, as Naruto bowed back. We will take our leave, and warn the Hokage about this, and also gave clear merits towards your team, Hatake-san. And with that, they made their way back to Konoha, in a slower pace, since the girl could not race through trees. And Hayashi wasn't the type to let his daughter sit on his shoulder, even though she was just his 3-year-old daughter. That was just how the clan head was. But guys, it'll be end episode right here. If you want the next part, don't do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.